Tell me about the connection between leaky brain and leaky gut.
Mm-hmm.
Is the pathway to healing the same? Is it different? Do they impact each other? How does that all work?
So people have to understand that the gut and the brain are connected in general.
Through the vagal nerve.
Through the longest nerve in our body, the vagus nerve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've been talking about, calming that.
Yeah.
And so you can't talk about gut health without talking about brain health. They are together. I look at it as a telephone tree.
I love that.
If you love your gut, you're going to love your brain.
Right.
And vice versa. And if you don't, the same thing will happen. So what I tend to find is a lot of my patients who present with brain fog or, mental health issues or even compromised immune systems, when I'm doing their gut workups, they have a damaged gut lining, just from toxicity or too much bad microbes or parasites, whatever it is that's causing their gut to be inflammatory, right? And the gut is important. When we have that leaky gut barrier, bad things are going to leak out. You're going to have a dysfunctional immune system. You're going to have toxins that leak out. And over time, they can cross into that leaky blood-brain barrier because the blood-brain barrier, you have the microglial cells, which, when they get active, it's all inflammatory. And that process is essential that we work on that and we calm the gut. We treat the gut border. We treat the inflammation in the brain simultaneously. Because when I'm saying, brain longevity, it's gut connected as well. So we can't look at these organs, alone.
So if you got LPS or endotoxin, that's going to affect the brain.
Exactly.
And it's going to create microglial activation.
And brain inflammation. It totally will. However, if you're doing the things you need to treat your gut better, right, you're treating your brain better at the same time. And I love the brain I have. I want to take care of it as long as possible, right? So I make sure I'm doing the things I need from a gut standpoint for that to happen.
So when you do kind of repair leaky gut, what are your favorite ways to do that? Are you on the peptide train like so many people are these days? Or are you doing combos of stuff? Or are you going old school and just kind of doing fiber and butyrate and trying to just create,
The first thing I'm doing, because I'm simple and I'm old school, I tell them, look, we're going to have a barter system. You're going to remove one toxic food out of your lifestyle and your diet, and I'm going to remove one supplement that you're going to have to purchase to get your gut better.
Oh, I like
that. Because if not, you're going to be taking 10 to 12 things to supplement your gut. And at the same time, those agents may not necessarily be helping you because you're excreting them out your gut because your gut border is leaky. So I always set that foundation and take those baby steps to have buy-in from a lifestyle standpoint because the supplements can't do it alone. Now, when it gets to the point of providing that additional support, that patient, people don't want to take a lot of things, right? All the vitamins, all the peptides, all the glutamine, but I set the foundation. I love BPC 157, KPV for the gut health. I am a big fan of old school, glutamine for gut health. And people have to be careful with probiotic utilization too, because sometimes if your gut is too impaired or if you had too much overgrowth of bad bacteria, that'll cause a problem. Can't tell you how many patients come to my office like, I'm on a probiotic and I feel terrible. Because your gut border is probably inflamed. That's still a living organism and your immune system is going to fight it. Right. So I don't think, when you're talking about gut health, you got to talk about lifestyle as a basics, but make sure it's realistic expectations that you're placing on a patient and then build from there.